Hello, I'm so happy I got a hold of you. Welcome to another exciting episode of LT Showcase. I am Lucious T, and this week we're taking a look at another Super Nintendo game. This time, it's a homebrew. Technically a homebrew, it's a game that was supposed to come out, but then it was picked up and finished, called Nightmare Busters. Funnily enough, there was an article that came out back in April saying they're doing a revival of this, so a modern game that's going to upscale the graphics and everything. So we're not talking about the new one, we're talking about the old one, which was released in 2012, I want to say 2013, by Super Retro Fighters? Yeah, Super Fighter Team. So anyways, let's check it out.
There's a lot of games out there, some of which you've never even heard of. That's where I come in. I'm Lucious T. I've been playing games since the age of 2, and I have no life. This is Retroactive.
So Nightmare Busters was a game I saw Reggie talk about on a pickups video years ago. It looked super interesting. When I saw him talk about it, I didn't realize it was a homebrew. I thought it was a unreleased, or not unreleased, but a obscure PAL game. I looked into it a few years later, saw what it was, saw that it was a game that came out in 2013, and I really wanted to get an authentic card of it, but it was difficult to really track one down because there's a lot of people making, like there is a lot of these now, especially if you're doing a lot of your searching online, there's a lot of people making fake versions of it. And the one that's really authentic, you can tell because it has the unique cartridge. And I finally found one that I was willing to bite on maybe about a year or so ago. It came with the manual and the game for $50 shipped, including everything. I think the game loose goes for around but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because it's hard to find an authentic one. There's so many that get counted as the fake one. But I picked it up without the box because whatever, I just wanted the game really. And jumping into it, I immediately got my ass kicked. It is tough. It is a run and gun game, but it's unfortunately a run and gun game where your base weapon doesn't kill things in one hit. So that's kind of the magic of a game like Contra, because you just have to get one bullet off and you're good. You know, I don't mind having some bullet sponge enemies, but if the basic run-of-the-mill enemy is at least 2 hits, that's very difficult. Now, they give you 2 hits yourself before you die, and you get an assortment of special attacks. You get 5 lives before you have to continue. I think there's 4 continues. And you also get a charge attack that after you complete the charge attack, or the dash attack, it makes you invulnerable for a few seconds. Now that's cool because you can use that dash attack to skip through difficult sections. Kind of think of it like the balloon in Gremlins, but you have to time it a little bit more. As well as when you activate the dash attack, you levitate in the air until you complete it because you have to charge it, although you are vulnerable while you're charging it. Now, I immediately, after playing on normal and getting my ass kicked, dropped the difficulty down to easy just so I could get through the game. It didn't really make it that much easier. I think the main thing it does is it gives you more drops, so you get more of the life refills, because there's a little vial that gives you 1 life back, which you can get a lot of those and keep you from losing lives, as well as there's upgrades to your basic attack, and those are pretty much needed. Think of it like Back to the Future. Once you get the bowling ball, everything's a lot easier. So once you get the upgraded attack, it stays with you until your character continues. And there's different types. Although, for the most part, there's 2 types. There's the one that kills things in one shot, and then there's the one that does a spread shot where it shoots up and then it shoots down. So it shoots up at kind of an angle. And there's certain areas where it's a lot easier to use that angled one than others. And this being a pseudo beat-em-up shooter, you have to have a kind of elevator level, a downward descent level, although they have it uniquely. You're falling through a cave where you have to avoid things, and then there's a stone trolley that's going down, almost a mine shaft type thing. There's 4 bosses, including the end boss, and then in the last stage you have a boss rush mode where you kill the first 3 bosses. There's times where you can tell the game may not have been finished because it was just picked up from the prototype and finished from there, because it almost feels like some of the levels end abruptly. But a lot of fun. Again, a 2-player game that I did not play with 2 players, but I can imagine it could be pretty crazy. I don't know if they increase the drops or anything to that extent, but You play as a leprechaun that is killing these nightmares, and at the end of the game, a little girl wakes up having her nightmare been officially busted. And all the pickups you have are gold, which are really just for points, and then you can pick up dominoes, which I couldn't really figure out, but then at the, I think at one point I got 100 dominoes and it gave me an extra life. So that's what they do. Although once you die and lose all your lives and have to continue, you can continue from where you died, but you lose all your dominoes. But that's alright, that's alright. But you also lose your upgraded weapon, and that can suck. So sometimes it makes more sense to kill yourself, use a continuous, and then pick up a certain weapon that you need. Like in the castle area, there's a lot of spikes that instantly kill you. So if you're trying to get through this almost Mario-like section, it can be really difficult because your hitbox is pretty big, there's a bunch of stuff trying to hit you. You can go from in a good position to dead very quickly. Even playing it on easy mode, I wasn't able to beat it till my third go around, I want to say, but it is, once you get it down, it is pretty short to beat, kind of like a half an hour. No, once again, like Fire Striker, a good game to have with 2 people, much more affordable, although it's a lot harder to find an authentic copy in my opinion. It took me a while. I was searching for this for several years, and if you don't know that it has that odd looking cart, it can be easy to get snookered and buy the wrong one. But if I was going to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7.5, just because of the sheer annoyingness of the fact that you have to shoot things twice. Kind of a bummer. I'd rather have a one-hit death than have it like that, because when you have that powerful weapon, the game becomes so much more enjoyable and fun than when you don't. So, and you also can lose the powerful weapon too and get one of the other ones, and then you're just stuck with it. So maybe if there was a way to cycle between good weapons, and your specials, other than the atomic bomb special, they just they tend to be there. The tornado one's alright, the big, like, they look cooler than what they are. So as far as a skip it, or emulate it, or pick it up, I give it a pick it up. You can pick it up, or maybe wait for the remake, and then you can probably get it for cheaper on Steam or something like that. And there you have it, Nightmare Busters. Very interesting game. It's funny, I've done two-player potential games in a row, yet I didn't play it with a second player. Not a very long game to beat, as I talked about, but a solid one. Definitely one where you have some time to get better at it, although it does feel a little unfinished at times, just the way the levels sort of just end and there's no dialogue and the splash screens. I don't know if they'd planned on maybe another boss before you hit the last boss, but still, good time. Looking forward to seeing what the remake, I guess the HD remake looks like, since finding an authentic cartridge of it's pretty hard. It's also a weird looking cart, as you can see. It's not your typical, it's kind of a mix of a Super Famicom or a PAL version of the Super Nintendo cart. I think it was made overseas, I don't know, but still super interesting. Anyways, let me know what you think. Stay tuned for next week as we continue with Super Nintendo odds and ends. It's been so nice getting a hold of you guys. Take care.